So I've shown you how to add system fonts and custom fonts manually, but there's a much easier way to handle this process. So first, let's clear out everything related to fonts I added to the Theme.json file earlier, as well as the assets folder that includes the custom font. We'll start by selecting and deleting the typography and elements property from the style section. Next, delete the font families property from the typography section under settings. This will allow us to start afresh. So save the file, then go back to the back end of your site and refresh the page to load the current Theme.json file. And as you can see, all the fonts have now reverted to the browser's default font, which is Times. So as of WordPress 6.5, you can now manage fonts directly through the font library, allowing you to add fonts via the back end of your site, including Google Fonts. To do this, go to the site editor. You'll need to access the global styles, which you can do by clicking the black and white circle icon at the top right when you're in the site editor. Then select typography, and under the font section, select add fonts. And here you can view the library of previously installed fonts, upload fonts, or install new fonts. So let's go ahead and install a Google font. So to give permission to connect to Google Fonts, click Allow Access to Google Fonts, and I'm going to install a Google font called Cabin. Now this font offers 8 variants, a 400, 500, 600, and 700 weights in both regular and italic. I'll select all of these variants and then click Install. Once installed, you'll see the fonts listed as active in your library, ready to use. Next, I'll set Cabin as the default font for the entire site. So similar to what we did previously manually, and you can check out the video linked at the top right of this video, I'll set this font as the root level, meaning it will be applied to the entire site unless otherwise specified for headings or other elements. So to do this, close the font library and under the Elements section, select Text, which is the root element for all the text on the site. And under the Typography section, you'll now see Cabin listed. So select Cabin as the font, and notice all of the fonts on the page now change from Times to the new root font Cabin. So hit save, and that's how you add Google Fonts to your site. However, if you're developing your own theme and you want to keep all these fonts and font settings as part of your theme, there is a caveat to doing it this way. So let me show you. So if you go back to your Theme.json file, you'll notice that nothing has changed. There are no typography or style settings, even though the site is using the Cabin font as the root font. Now, this is because everything has been saved directly into the database, but we want everything saved directly to the theme folder, including the fonts and the settings in the Theme.json file. So let's go back to the site, and you'll notice a little wrench, or spanner as we like to call it in the UK, icon in the top menu. Now this icon comes from a plugin called Create Block Theme, and this plugin significantly speeds up your workflow. And if you're developing your own blueprint themes, I highly recommend you install it. Now, the beauty of using the Create Block Theme plugin is that it allows you to save changes directly to your theme. At the time of recording this video, there are some things the plugin can't do, like saving patterns, but development on that feature is already underway. Now what it can do is save fonts, styles, and template changes that you make in the UI, which is super handy if you're developing your own themes. To save changes back to your theme, click on the wrench or spanner icon, then select Save Changes to Theme. Here you'll be presented with various options, and Save Fonts is one of them. Ensure that Save Fonts is checked, as well as Save Style Changes. This will ensure that any styles are saved back to the Theme.json file in the Styles property. So click Save Changes. After saving, WordPress will prompt you to refresh the page. Once refreshed, if we look at the Theme.json file, you'll see that the font family has automatically been added. It includes the font families, the font face property, along with the font styles and weights, with the source file paths correctly routed to the assets folder. It even includes the physical font within the theme's assets fonts folder. Now additionally, it generates a Unix string, presumably to prevent any conflicts with other previously installed fonts. It's also added the typography property under the style section for the root font and set the font family to Cabin, just as we set in the global styles via the backend UI. So the plugin has done exactly what we did manually in the previous videos, and if you haven't seen those, there's a link in the top right. Go and check that video out now. And you can also follow a similar process for setting up headings. Just ensure that instead of saving everything to the database, when you change the global styles, ensure you click the wrench icon or spanner icon and select Save Changes to Theme. And this is how you install Google Fonts and save those settings and styles back to your theme using the Create Block Theme plugin, which can significantly streamline your workflow. So if you found this video useful, you can show your appreciation by clicking the like button and subscribe for more quick tips like this.